Hi, everybody. It's Rose and Kim, and we're back for another hot tip. Everybody remember Kim Swanson?
Hi, everybody. Woo! Good to
Hey.
be back. Good to see you, Rose, my
Good to
darling.
see you. How are you this week?
I'm good. I'm still coronating.
You're in Illinois, right?
Still in Illinois, right?
Yeah, the
Right.
people who aren't from there, they call it Illinois.
I know, right?
Like St.
Like,
Louis. It's also
yeah,
wrong.
St. Louis. Nobody says St. Louis if you live
Nobody
in.
says that from St. Louis, but
Well, and Louisville. If you live in
oh,
Louisville,
I
Kentucky,
know.
it's not
It's all
Louisville,
crazy,
not Louisville. It's Louisville.
right? It's nuts. But today we want to talk about what actors can do while they're coronating. And I think a top thing is taking an acting class. What do you think?
Oh, work on your craft. Oh my gosh.
Right.
I've been on a few different Facebook pages and people are always like, I don't know how to get started. I don't know what I could be doing. Why is my career not moving forward? And my answer 99% of the time is you need to get in a class, a
Right.
good on-camera class. And people say, I need to take an audition class. If you're taking a good on-camera class, you will be prepared to audition.
Right. No, I mean, there's no question. There's no question. And right now, the best thing is there's so many opportunities, both free and paid, to take classes from experts of all ranges, and you could do it virtually, and you could be literally anywhere. You could be an actor in Illinois coronating.
Right. Back when we were young, like in the 1700s, right?
Stop, that's you.
Like, I was living in central Illinois in the middle of a small town. There was no opportunity for me to go and take a good, solid acting class anywhere. Like
No.
it was non-existent.
Nothing.
So the only thing close was to take be in the drama club at the high school. And that teacher had never done anything professionally in his life other than teach at the high school,
Right.
And didn't know anything about on camera. Like there was no place to learn. And that's just not an excuse anymore.
Right. Right. And not to disregard the high school teachers, because there are some that are great.
Oh, there are some that are
and
fantastic.
there are some that have done professional stuff. And there are some that are great that haven't done professional stuff that can teach them great acting. So,
Agreed.
But a lot of people have graduated from high school and college and still need, they need.
Well, and I think that actors forget that just because you graduate from a program, even if you're graduating from Juilliard, doesn't mean you never take class again.
Right.
The actors who are working actors who consistently work still study on a regular basis. They never quit studying. And there is also a huge difference between acting for stage and acting for camera.
Oh my God. That's always such a big deal, right? Because here we are, we're so intimate. You and I are just having a little discussion, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's pretty much, I mean, we're not acting, that's obvious. But the tone is conversational. But if you're on a stage, you have to be huge. You have to be much bigger. Maybe less now. I mean, I'm not a stage casting director, so I don't know. But with the intimacy of their microphones, it might be a little less big. Tell me.
Less, but you still have to project that emotion all the way to the back row of
the face and everything has to be bigger, whereas this is small. And you just think of where it ends up.
Exactly.
You're in somebody's living room or you're on this huge stage.
Right. Well, I always tell actors also that, the difference between on camera versus stage, it's like, for me, because I come from a dance background initially, if you're a dancer, a wonderfully classically trained ballet dancer who dances on point for hours on end, if I throw a pair of tap shoes at you, you're still going to be lost. Yes, it's still dance. Yes, there's still choreography. Yes, it's still a dance floor. Yes, it's still a stage. Yes, there's still curtains and lights, but it's a completely different art form.
Right.
And by the same token, I would never take a tap dancer and throw a pair of point shoes on her.
Exactly.
It's a different specific training. Now, does that mean that one cannot help the other? Oh, so, totally. If you're a ballet dancer, you have a sense of placement of your arms and spinning and things that will transfer over to tap, but there are also things that are going to fight against you. Where a ballet dancer has to be very centered in their weight, a tap dancer, it's constantly back and forth of the weight.
That's so
you know.
interesting how that actually ties into acting and balancing all the different angles of what's happening to you and what you're bringing to the moment. It's actually a very good analogy, and I appreciate hearing that. I think it's interesting. You know what? I see we have a guest, and it's Brian Cutler. Brian, can you?
People.
I know, right?
Hey,
I met Brian.
Brian.
Is he coming out? I think he's coming out. I feel like he's coming out. Hold on.
Yep.
Let's see.
He's coming out.
Here he's. Oh, look, there's his face. And Brian, maybe you could get your video to.
Yeah, it looks like the video's turned off.
Okay, here we go. Let's see if we can get him to start his video. There he is. Hi, Brian.
Hello.
Good to see you again.
I didn't pop up.
Wow, Brian's an acting coach of 30 years in Los Angeles, and he's been a working actor for 75 years, and he's proud of it. So we'll go with that.
Good.
I don't know 75 years, so.
Well, hopefully you will.
Yes, I do hope to, of course. But nice to see you again. I took your class while I was in Los Angeles last time, and Kim takes your class ongoing. And yes. I understand you also work, and particularly now, on Zoom. Tell us about that a little bit.
Okay, well, I was skeptical about doing the Zoom thing because I'm computer illiterate. You see, it took me several minutes to get my video on. But I'm so thrilled that we did it, and we did it from day one of the pandemic. The reason I wanted to do it, and I did it for our talent, our students that could afford it and couldn't afford it, because a lot of them are, as we all know, in the service industry. Service industry closed, but I wanted my students to continue to work on their craft. And what's happened is we've expanded all over the country, have a student in Ireland and a student in London because of the Zoom. And so I'm thrilled, and I'm thank God every day that those people that have continued to study, and it's a real solid group, have grown exponentially, even though we're working on Zoom. I have had several people have real tremendous breakthroughs in emotion and crying and getting angry. I'm just blessed and thrilled that it's worked as well as it has.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Very nice.
All right, it was terrible acting.
It was a little too theatrical, We can bring it back a little bit.
Going for the comedy aspect of it, though, so I had to stretch it a little more. It was horrible, but anyway, a little bit funny. So now, you're doing the Zoom. Tell us, for our viewers, tell us like a few acting tips you've got, just off the top, what people can do during this time.
Okay, if you're not in a class, which you should be, because there are plenty available.
Amen.
Here's 3 things that I tell all my actors to do. Cold read aloud 30 minutes every day. Please don't take an $800 cold reading class. You don't have to.
No.
Contact me. I'd be happy to send you a 2-page sheet, which will tell you exactly what to do and how to cold read. It's really simple if you just follow the formula. It's like anything else. But cold read aloud at least 30 minutes every day. That gorgeous guy who just left is my roommate. Who's a fabulous screenwriter and just wrote his first screenplay, but he's written a lot of pilots and stuff for television. He's wonderful. His name is Del Potter. Anyway, bye, Del. He's going to get lunch.
Bye, Del.
Hey, Del.
So cold read aloud 30 minutes every day, at least. Not less. If you want to read more, great. Read something you like reading. Don't read something you don't want to read, because then you won't do it. It's like you go to the gym because you like going to the gym. If you don't like it anymore, you stop going. So you can read the Bible, you can read Shakespeare, you can read the op-ed section of the newspaper, you can read poetry, you can read monologue books, but cold read aloud 30 minutes every day. Secondly, I tell all my actors work on their 5 senses all the time. So when you're in the car, instead of listening to the radio, watch people. Watch the way they cross the street. Like in LA, it's been 100 degrees. They don't walk across the street. They do the same way on a 60-degree day. Or on a rainy day. Watch the way you eat. You don't eat a sandwich, a tuna sandwich, the way you eat a hot dog. It's different. You don't drink a hot drink the way you drink a cold drink. Switch things around. Everybody has a desk in their home, where everything is in the desk, right? Okay, take everything out, move it all to different drawers. So when you sit down at the desk, you have to think about where everything is. Change things up. And the third thing I say is you've got to stay in good shape for your body type. I never tell anybody lose weight or gain weight, especially right now during the pandemic, and everybody, as I mentioned earlier, has COVID-15. That's the extra 15 pounds we all put on during the COVID-19. But stay in good shape for your body type. That means whatever you do, walk, swim, run. It's hard to go to the gym right now. Some trainers that are training personally still train personally, but you can do a lot of stuff every day to stay in good shape. Watch what you eat. Bill Maher talks about it all the time and has for years. You know, you are what you eat. People that are in good shape and healthy aren't going to get sick. You know, no matter what's going around, you're not going to get sick. No. So I always use Pavarotti as an example. Was he in good shape? Well, everyone says, well, he was fat. No, he wasn't fat. He was a full-figured man. And by being a full-figured man, how do I know he was in good shape? Because I'm also a musician and a singer. I've done opera and musical comedy. You cannot do a 3 or 4 hour opera 3 nights a week unless you're in great shape.
Yeah.
So no. did he overeat? Yeah. But was he in good shape? Yes. So those are the 3 things. This my freebie for everybody.
No,
Cold read aloud 30 minutes every day. Work on your 5 senses all the time. Stay in good shape for your body type. There you go.
It.
Easy.
No, that's great. Thank you for that. Yeah, and we'll put your info in the comments. But Kim, you've been taking from Brian for a long time. You're, I think, the only casting director I know that takes acting classes, and I know quite a few casting directors. Now, it's possible they don't mention it, but but I'm different than a lot of casting directors come from acting. Not me. I just, no, I don't know how I came to this, but you were an actor, or tell us your story a little bit.
I started off as an actor, singer, dancer first, and did some shows, like did a chorus line and George M, and was in a couple of smaller films and some national commercials and that sort of thing. And long story short, I quit acting because I went through a divorce and suddenly needed to be a mom. And that was in the Midwest, and the judge said I had to get a regular job. They didn't think acting was a real job.
Right.
So to keep my kids, I got a regular job, and that turned into, I opened a dance studio, which turned into casting. And casting was a great fit for me because my love of actors and doing good scene work and knowing what they're capable of. And it was just a really great fit for me to get to use my acting background and my, and have those relationships that you have when you're in a show, there's nothing like it. So that was how I ended up casting. I never thought about casting as a career. I just one of those things, I had a plan and God laughed. And, but I thankfully when Brian and I became friends, which was a funny story in itself.
Yeah, it is.
How we became friends. But, and I was able to take class from him off and on when I was still in the Midwest and he was in Kansas City for a beat. And so I would get to sit in on classes when I would go to Kansas City for casting sessions there, which was really nice. I thought, gosh, I really miss, getting to take class. So when I made the leap to LA, and then he reopened his school in LA out there about a year later, I was like, yes, because I had tried other acting classes. I was like, oh no, this isn't it, but I love that creative aspect of it. And I feel like every casting director should take acting. If they can't take it on a regular basis, take it as often as possible, because it does remind you what it feels like to be the one up there getting direction, and you're like, I don't know what they're asking of me, or that kind of thing. 'Cause, so I've been in rooms where casting directors give direction. I'm thinking, boy, as an actor, I would have no clue what you want from me right now.
Probably happens when you're in my room.
But I feel, and I also feel like it helps me personally to be a bit more empathetic to understanding what it's like, when you have good days and bad days as an actor, and and not, I don't let that get into my head too much when someone auditions for me and maybe they have a bad day or they have not a very good audition, but I always remind myself, I brought them here for a reason. There was something about them I liked,
I always do that. I always give them more than one shot, I mean, I think it's important. You and I work real similarly. I've said this before. Yeah. And I think we keep it a warm room. Whereas, I mean, you have to understand from the actor's viewpoint, even in our room, it's still the coldest room in the world. From their side, it's so crazy. But I think, but I think, we try and make them as comfortable as possible. And honestly, I have been noted in saying, I've always been a virtual casting director. You have too, ever since the technology came out, because, we're kind of all over the place. And I think it gives the actor more room, gives them more room. If they're at home and they're doing self-tapes, they can do 50 of them. I don't know that, unless you mark them one, take two. Some do. Which happened to some do. Once my friend sent me a take 49. I'm like, what? And he said, well, 48 wasn't great and 52 didn't hit it either, but 49 I really liked. So anyway, this has been a pleasure. Thank you so much. I'll include a link to your classes. And
great.
No, this is great. Thanks for joining us, Brian. Kim, always good to see you.
Always good to see you,
guys.
too.
Thanks for the invite. I really appreciate it.
Well,
thanks. You guys stay well and stay safe.
All right, wait.
Okay.